Perfect. So over the past few weeks, we've talked about a lot of different topics. So I think it would be kind of good to loop back a little bit to see what everyone's been doing with the information that they've been gathering. So a lot of questions have been
Perfect.
asked.
Yeah.
Insight has been provided. Has anyone actually been applying that? And how have you been applying it? And what have you found as a result? Have you found it, being a little bit better for you? Have you found it difficult because it's definitely a transition for some of you on how you would normally look at things? Is there anyone in this group that's been watching the webinars and participating and asking questions that has actually been applying it? And you can raise your hand. We can even give you the opportunity to talk. But whether it goes from creating your vision boards or understanding why you got into back into this, and you kind of changed your mindset and how you're approaching everything, or is it just your tactics when it comes to how you're following up with your leads? Are you watching the lead alerts versus just calling everyone? Or are you still kind of sticking with your, I'm going to call them like I used to, but I'm implementing more of a laid back approach? So is there anyone in here that is comfortable to talk or share their experiences on here? Because again, we can only uplift each other's, right? So a lot of us, if we have a question or concern or results, there's likely somebody else in here that wants to know and or is experiencing the same thing, right? So don't be shy. So if any of you guys want to raise your hand that have maybe applied anything, have any of you applied anything? I know that, I just through my other webinars, some of them, like they take it all in, but I find that a lot don't actually apply it. They learn, but they don't apply. And it's normal behavior. We like to gather information.
Yeah. And that's what the biggest thing, it's like going to a therapist. You can go to a therapist every day for your entire life. But the work comes when you walk out the door.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
You've got to take the little bits and pieces. And I think through each webinar that you guys have, whether or not it's with me, Nick, Bev, take the little bits and pieces and just say to yourself, this week I'm going to implement 2. You don't have to do it all at once, because, this is what we're creating for you is systems, right? And the right systems bring results. But if you don't have systems and you're not consistent with them, you will not get results, no matter who's trying to train you. Right?
Exactly.
It comes up to me. I would not be sitting here today if I wasn't completely committed to my systems. Period.
Yep.
And it would be really easy for me to say, I'm not going to do it today. But the risk is too high, because I know that if I don't follow through with my systems, that will jeopardize my business.
Yep, absolutely.
And then we're talking about mindset again, Crystal. Right?
Exactly. It goes back into it.
About mindset.
Goes back into it. And even for many of you guys that are in here, you've gone through training of some sort. We've set up filters for you to utilize those filters. I find that there's some people that they know they're there, but they still go back into their own, roots of what's easiest for them, essentially.
Yes.
But just so you guys are aware, I was talking to a client of mine that he just wanted to discuss his system, and his filters kind of got messed up a little bit. So we kind of went back and fixed them all. He's been following that to a T. So he goes through every single filter that we have created standard for him. He's utilizing tags. He's utilizing whatever. He's started in August. He's 400 and whatever leads in his system. He's got 4 transactions under his plate because he's following up to offering that customer service, following up with the leads, regardless of what their timelines are, whether it's a monthly or 6-month check-in. And he's got a handful that are in the pipeline, and he's actually showing. So I'm confident he's going to hit about a 2% conversion rate this year just by following structure that we've put in front. Right. Whether you modify that, because he's tweaked it a little bit for himself as to the frequency or what have you. And that's all you can do. If you don't want to call someone every 2 days, then don't call them every 2 days. Adjust it to every 7 days or every 5 days or what have you, right? So but they're there for a reason, and they do work. So I just wanted to share that with you, that we show you these things, and Para tells you all her strategies because they work. And whether you're taking one strategy and applying that solely, or you're taking, our tools that we're giving you, Tara's approach, Bev's approach, Nick's approach, and kind of amalgamating and creating something that fits you, then it's just a matter of, again, having that structure and following through on it daily, right? And he's spending $1,000 a lead, $1,000 a month, solo agent, and his filters are emptied every single day because he jumps in there and he's going to double it because he's like, this is so manageable because he never let it get too far out of reach.
Right.
Yeah.
Tracy says she's followed. Yeah. She's applied the text and email for leads. So you're doing the drip. I know Tracy. So she has access to the drip campaign. And I know Tracy just sent me an email last week that she's got somebody else in the car. We could get Nick, if you wouldn't mind maybe stepping in and talking about your experience with Agent Locator. Nick is a brand new agent.
Okay.
On my team. So he's new because he's fresh out of Humber. I think he's about 7-8 months licensed. So he's new to the pay-per-click. He's new to Agent Locator. And he's got multiple people in the car now. Are you on there, Nick? Look at me. I'm raising my voice like he can hear me. Any questions?
All right. Sabrina is asking what a drip campaign is. So it's like an email drip. So a drip campaign is something you can apply to your leads that will automatically send out an email or a text message just to keep you in touch with them.
Yeah. And the beautiful thing about this, even though I have my own drip campaign, and we've talked about this for quite some time, I created my own. I had them even before entering and having a relationship with Agent Locator. Everybody can modify the existing ones that are in Agent Locator. They can change them to make it sound just like them. I always just want to say this, a drip campaign, they should not be long emails, right? You want to have something short to the sweet. Remember that thing, we want to just let them know that we're here for them, and maybe ask a question at the end. That's old school real estate. Ask a question at the end that will prompt them to respond. So the key to the best conversion is not just saying I've done a deal, but it's about getting these people to start communicating with you. And that's where I'm always saying to people, change your mindset. Stop thinking the pay-per-click leads don't work. Instead, I want you to tell me, how many people are you talking to right now? And they always say, oh God, I'm talking to 20 or I'm talking to 10. And I'm like, well, there, you have success. If you can't get them in the car unless you're talking to them.
Yep. And you have to track your behaviors too, right? So logging everything, because you never know when you last did something if you're not logging it, right? So that's a common thing that I'll see is if you're not using the dialer, just make sure you're logging. It's more work. That's why we encourage the dialer for you guys to log it all. But I'll jump into systems and then it'll be, oh, no one's answering. No, I called all, no one's answering. I said, well, it looks here like you didn't call any of these people. You have to log. Like, when did you last call this person? They can't remember. Right? They'd have to sit there and pull up on their phone and look for that number to see when they actually last called that person.
Yeah. I always make notes. So this is why, if we can go back to opening up your Agent Locator, having a set time each day that's part of your system, part of your routine, where you're now going to say, this is where I'm time blocking and I'm actually going to do lead follow-up. Right. So if you make that time, you've got Agent Locator open on your desktop, your laptop, whatever it is, you can use the dialer, you can use your phone, but you're still going to log in the call, type in the notes. I even type in called, left message, even though it allows me to do it, but I'll still add a bit more. Or maybe I might even type in their voicemail was full. Right.
Yeah, exactly.
So I know that I have done it. It's not automatic. There has to be a touch for Tara, even in my notes.
There's too many names in your dashboard to be able to remember anything. Right?
Yeah.
And if you talk to 5 people consecutively and then didn't log everything, and then I closed your system and opened it back up, and I was like, okay, who said what? You'd be like, you'd probably be lost for words, and you would get the stories mixed up between, at least a few of the people. You're like, oh, no, that was that person, right? So it's a lot to, we just give our brains too much credit. That's really all it comes down to. It's not going to act in the way you think it's going to act, or we would hope it would act. Maybe for some of us it would. Now it looks like I've got here Yaz. Yaz, I see you got your hands up, so I'm gonna give you the opportunity to talk. I'm not sure if you want to say something or ask a question in here. You are on mute, so if you do want to talk, you just have to unmute yourself, just in case.
We gotta hear you.
But has there been anyone else that's applied anything, like whether it's starting to use drip campaigns or build drip campaigns, or monitoring their lead alerts? Anyone been doing any of those kind of different behaviors versus just using filters, watching people's activities? Anyone going with that approach?
I do.
Yeah.
I do. I tell you, there was a lot of activity this weekend. A lot of people responding to the lead notification alerts that I watch. I had a ton of people answering my emails. A lot of people replied back. I'm really concerned about the interest rates. Like, it's amazing when you pay attention to the lead notification, the re-login notifications. How much these people, if you're sending the right drip campaigns to them, will respond. I had a lot of people. Educating our sellers right now is really hard, really, really hard. And I've had a lot of people reply back this weekend going, what I'm seeing on the selling end, I don't think I'm going to be ready to sell again. I mean, can you believe it? Compared to what we've been through in 2 years with sellers.
Now they're seeing the prices coming down a little, and depending on the area, some are, coming down a fair bit. And those, and so they're like, you know what, we don't really need to move, right? But the reality is that it's kind of going back to what it should have been, right? It's not like it's going below market value in any sense yet. Anyway, I hope it doesn't.
Depends on where you are for sure. But I think that because for those of us in the GT area, we're struggling to try to figure out what the buyers want from us as listing agents. Because we're back to trying to list at market value, but then the buyers won't come and view the homes. Nobody's booking showings. They're only booking showings when we're under listing and holding offers, which is so strange to me. Because that's what you guys have been complaining about for 2 years. But when I list it at market value, you don't book a showing. Like, it's such a difficult transition. But if we're going to go from a lead point of view, what a great conversation to start having with these leads, because nobody knows what's going on in the market. There is so much all over the map that this is the opportunity as a high lead converter that I go, okay, maybe I will start making more calls to these people because I know they have questions, because this is crazy what I'm seeing. So take advantage of different things that go on in the market, because I think this is a beautiful opportunity for you to really be the person that answers the questions that everybody has. And I mean, we have them too. We have them. We don't know what the buyers want.
No.
Okay, a couple of questions here. Do you see those, Crystal?
Yes. So Steve is checking the email alerts and add everyone to the drips. I've added leads from other sources and have them on drips for searches. Nice. Okay, good.
Yeah, perfect. And then Sabrina. So
she wants to know at what point do you ask the lead if they're ready to look at properties? If they say no, do you keep asking them?
So one of the emails that I have in my drip, now we just switched around some of the emails, so bear with me. I feel like it's our day 30 email. I actually, so at day 30, a month in, they've already received a very soft, gentle emails from me. They've received one on day 7, one on day 15. We've just transferred a day 35 into the middle of that just to adjust for the new market, what's going on. So at day 30, I thought after a month, I'm now one of my emails is going to be, again, thanks for being on the system. I really appreciate you coming on my site and looking at the new listings. Would you like to go out and see homes? So it's super simple. But the reason I positioned that at day 30 was I want to start building up trust with the lead. So the lead's getting listings every day from the moment they log in. So I know that they're getting what they want, listings. They're getting now 2 other emails from me in the meantime. Now I'm going to ask them if they want to see houses. Typically, the reply that I get is, I'm not ready yet, but I appreciate you asking, or nope, not there yet, just want to see the listings. So whatever the reply is that I get, immediately I reply back. There is no delay. And I'm like, thanks, I appreciate the update. Enjoy the site. I'm always here. Right? So if you kind of understand where the dynamics are, do I think they're going to be ready at day 30? Probably not. But I'm going to ask them, and they're going to continue to see that when they are ready, they're going to think of Tara.
And often they'll tell you too, right? If you're regularly following up with them as well and just making sure things are good, you'll start to understand when they start to ask more questions about specific properties or just their behaviors in general. That's a signal to you that things are shifting. Right. So some of them might just say, yeah, we're still good. Listings are great. Thank you. Right. And some might start asking questions. Right?
I love that. All I want is a reply, because when they reply, I can show them that I'm going to reply back really quickly. And they know that Tara's here. It's these drip campaigns that you guys can create are a form of branding. Right? We have to tell these people that we've never met, who know us from no one, that we're the ones that they want to use. And that's what I use the relogin notifications for, because that alone can tell you that something's changed in your leads activity. When you start seeing them come on and on and on and on, I know right away, Bob wants to move. Bob's changed. Something's going on. And now I'm going to do something a little extra to try to get him in the car. And never forget, I've also had leads, and this happened to me about 6-7 weeks ago. The day she came on, she looked at houses. I literally got the notification on my phone that a new lead had registered. And then I got a page to call this lead through the office. Oh. And I was out 2 days later showing her houses. So
they are out there. They are out there, right? So they browse, they look wherever, and like, now I actually need someone to help me with this. Right. And it just depends on who is sending them listings or where they went to the last place they looked. Right.
I think if we go back to the old things that we've said too, guys, how quick you are at responding can really, really make or break your conversion. So I know when they're on my site, they're getting listings from other realtors. I know that. And I also know that if they're asking me about property B, right, they probably have also asked another 5 more agents. And if I had a nickel for every lead that has said to me, thank you for your quick response, Tara, I'd be retired. Because some don't respond, because they're not watching their notification, their relogin notifications, and others just don't understand the value of the leads. Listen, if I'm going to call a realtor and ask a question, I'm one of those people, straight up one of those people, and that realtor doesn't get back to me, I'm like, okay, I see. Okay, right? And now I'm already thinking, you must not really want the business. You must not, right? So please try to be as quick as you can within reason. at replying back to these people. And I think you're going to see the conversions a whole lot quicker as well, right?
No, absolutely. And even if they're telling you it's the wrong number, if they're not really interested, whatever it is, they took the time to respond to you. Take the time to acknowledge their response.
Yeah.
Right. You can have fun with it too, right? If they was the wrong number, no Joe here, no problem. Sorry about that. You don't happen to be looking to buy or sell, do you? Right. So, haha, lol, whatever it is, right? But it's just having some fun with it, and you never know, right? You never know what it may be.
Who do they know?
Exactly.
Right?
So,
yeah.
Well, there's actually a realtor that called somebody, and it was the wrong number. She accidentally dialed the wrong number. It was one digit off, but she ended up getting a listing out of it because that person actually also wanted to sell, right? So it was like one of those flukes. It's like a fluke that it happened. But
right?
it's taken that and being a little bit more forward and direct about what you do. And some of us in sales are very forward, and it's just a personality type that we let everyone know what we do. And those are the ones that tend to be brave in those kind of conversations, that they would actually speak up and actually ask the person, hey, well, do you think, like, I'm calling actually with respect to a listing appointment, are you guys thinking of selling by any chance, right? It's just being a little bit more forward and confident in yourself when you're talking to these people.
Yeah.
And it goes a long way, right? But for many, it's something that we learn to be like that, right? You got to put that hat on and know you're just doing your job, right? It's like any job. You can stand there, and if you're kind of like a quiet personality, generally speaking, all of a sudden when you're at work, it changes because now you're working. It's like it's not personal anymore. It's work related. And so it's amazing how we can change our behaviors just simply because of a title.
Yeah, very true. Very true.
Sabrina is asking, is there a link to a drip campaign? So Sabrina, I can't find an account for you, so you must be maybe under a different account. I've only just based on the and sorry, just based on your last name, sorry. Okay, so you're under Vita Lau. Okay, Sabrina. I knew your name was like, I knew your name sounded familiar. I'm pretty sure you have some templates in there, but let me copy them over again just in case. So you will have e-campaigns in your CRM system. And the ones that Tara talked about is she runs her own outside of this lead coaching program. So coaching on leads. So she has her own custom campaign that she's built that she shares for anyone that's part of her coaching program outside of what we're doing here on Agent Locator. Yeah.
However, everybody can do their own, because this isn't about,
absolutely. Yeah.
I'm not here to promote my coaching program. No. What started for me was when realtor.ca first came into fruition, and now we were being emailed requests about houses, because back in that day, the internet had only just started, right? We were, as old realtors, we were used to getting calls, right? People would call us or page us. So I just started having to communicate now with people through email. And I just started going, okay, if I now need to try to win somebody over, not with my voice, but with my words on typing, then I've got to figure out a way that's going to get them to communicate back with me. Because at that point in time, when you did it on realtor.ca, you didn't always have to give your phone number. So we only ever had emails back then. And that's how I started developing a way, tried and tested each email that I used. And now I just sort of created and compiled them together and created a drip campaign. And that's where it started from. So everybody can do it. It's just a matter of saying to yourself, if I were this lead, what do I want to hear from a realtor? And that's what started for me. What would get Tara in the car? Because I feel like I'm pretty average that way. I know that if somebody comes on too strong, I'm going to push them back and I'm going to say, I don't need you. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So you can modify these emails and you can do this. You know, I want everybody to try rather than just saying, no, I want to have it provided for me, because I think it's really important that when you do make your calls, that the emails that you're using sound like you, right?
Exactly.
Sense,
Exactly. That's why
right?
it's, and because if you have somebody write all your emails, you're going to look at it and be like, I would never say that to somebody. Right.
Yeah.
And we used to find that too when we used to offer content writing here, or we would have, a subject, we do the research, our content writers write the article, and then the person would be like, well, that's not something I would say. That's not how I would say it. It's like, well, that's because it's not you writing it.
Right.
Right. So
Yeah.
it's really hard. And the more we understand somebody's writing styles, the better we can create content that sounds more, realistic to them creating that content. But it's difficult, but you do give it a go. Like I say it to all of you, if you guys go and take the opportunity and the time to build out campaigns, I'd be more than happy to do a look over them. Right? Just try. All you have to do is try, and you're not sending it to anyone. You're just building it out, and then we just look at it, and we can look at it together. I can look at it and put a video together for you one way or another, and then that way you have to do it, right? you can't just watch it. You have to actually apply it.
Right. You have to apply. You have to do it. I wouldn't have been so honored to be asked to do these live coaching if I didn't spend the time, and what I preach is what I do. And I've been doing this a long time, and there's days that I don't want to. There's days that I don't want to, but I will not do it. Right. So start this way when you're creating your drip. First of all, never forget that when people sign up, when they do the Google searches, houses for sale in Vancouver, let's just say, or houses for sale in Toronto, whatever it is they're typing in, what they want is to see listings. So first and foremost, you got to make sure they get enough listings, right? So these people aren't signing up and doing these searches because they want to hear from you every day until they finally answer the phone, right? They want to see current houses for sale. So I give them that. And I make sure that I give them a wide range of houses. I don't want anybody telling me what this lead wants except for the lead. So I always revise the search so that they're getting a little bit of everything from me. So as my emails come in, there's more reason for them to respond. The two go hand in hand. First, my first email that goes out right away, ask yourself, if it were me, what would I want from an agent when he's sending me the first email on a drip? Tara's mind goes, I want somebody to thank me for coming on their site. So all of my emails start off with a thanks. I really appreciate your loyalty to my site. Thank you for coming on the site again. I really appreciate it. Those are always the lines. And then I say to myself, okay, what else? So my first email is thank you. The site's designed to send you new listings every day. If you need your search criteria changed, please don't hesitate to let me know. I'm always here to help. Right? So do you guys understand? So that now you have email one for your drip. Right?
Easy.
So start thinking that way. A drip can be 50 emails if you want. It can be 5. There's no rhyme or reason, but I'm constantly testing my emails, and I'm constantly reviewing which ones are getting the most correspondence, because the ones that don't, over a period of time, I'll try to give it about 3 months, I'll kick them out of the drip. And now I know that my drip, instead of being 55 days, is maybe now only 45, because that email wasn't working and I don't want to lose these people.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? I don't know. I always say
it does.
I know.
Yeah, no, it does. It's trying to put yourself into the shoes of that lead and what you would be looking for or hoping for as a result.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And some of us just, as you said, just want to be thanked for, whatever it is that we're doing.
It's like anything else in life. Don't criticize me until you appreciate me first.
Mm-hmm.
That's the rules in my head. If I'm going to have a discussion with somebody and I'm going to be asking them a bunch of questions, I want to make sure that I'm building them up first before I kind of get what I need out of them.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the way that I do every single one of the emails that I put onto my drip. Along with the emails too, I'm incorporating some text messages as well. And I'm still playing around with the texting, which is the right words, which isn't. Some I get replies to, some I don't. And I haven't seen yet an even response where I can go, okay, those two work. Sometimes one works, and then I can go for a month and that one doesn't work anymore.
Yeah. It all depends on who's on the receiving end as well, right? And is that aligning with their search and their goals?
Yeah. And then when you want to start making calls. So I think the key to being successful in lead conversion is always being aware of what's working and not working, and be willing to make change. Right?
And that's part of being all hands on deck every day, not just when we feel like it.
Yes. I mean, the time before, when I shared my cancer story and my why and what motivated me, I remember, the big question is, okay, Tara, tell us, when do you do this? Tell us your time blocking. And I think that is one of the best questions that we've ever had for me, because I am going to emphasize this again. We are the ones paying for Agent Locator. This is our money. So if I'm going to invest my money into this, then I certainly am going to work it. Right? It makes no sense to me, when you're on commission sales, to invest your money and never open it and never do anything with it. So for me, I know that my most productive, my most quiet, because I'm an early riser, is first thing in the morning. Everybody has to look at their daily schedule. If you go on any other coaching systems, whether it's Brian Buffini, whether it's the Maxwell system, whoever it is, most of those coaches will tell you your best time to sit down and time block is always in the morning. Right? Get it done. So for me, I open up my Agent Locator from 7:30 in the morning on. Clearly, I'm not making phone calls at 7:30, but I certainly am reviewing my leads, seeing what they're doing, watching what they're doing. I'm opening them up a little further. I'm investing Tara into each one of these leads, even if it's just my eyes. So I might open up Bev, because Bev's come on. I'm now going to look at what Bev's looking. I might not call Bev. I might not email Bev, but you can be sure that when I leave Bev, I know exactly what she's looking for, because I've invested my time into her. And that makes me more attached to my leads, which makes me work them and feel better about what I'm spending, because I get results.
Makes sense. Sabrina was asking how many emails would be in a drip and what's the time frame. And we actually had Alroy on here respond, just letting her know that each email is a drip. They can go for years. He has a monthly drip that he's got him buyers after 7 to 8 years. The trick is to keep top of mind without being a pest.
Yes. Yeah. It's branding 101.
Yeah.
Right? So this is, and remember, my drip campaign is also consistent of the listings. So consider them getting houses, getting each listing as part of your drip as well. So as long as they're getting the listings every day, that's just branding of your name, right? Every day in their inbox, which is why it's so important to always make sure that their searches are revised enough that when we have a cooling off, like we did lack of inventory in the last 2 years of listings, you want to have a really wide price range until these people tell you what their price range is.
Mm-hmm.
If they're not sent houses every day, they're not going to open them,
Mm-hmm.
right? They have to have that wide range being sent to them because that's your name in their inbox, right? So
Exactly.
view that. For me, I don't do 7 or 8 years. I do strictly just a matter of days, but then I'm constantly doing newsletters to all. All my leads get newsletters every month. They also get email notifications of open houses, new listing alerts. And then I do little what I call warm and fuzzies as well. So even though the drip may be done, my leads are constantly hearing from Tara as a realtor forever until they unsubscribe. That never stops, ever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right. And that's why sometimes I just did a deal with a lead that was 4.5 years old.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we're not here to say when their time is, right?
No, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And as long as they're getting the listing. So the listing is primarily what people are interested in. And there are agents out there that have been sending listings for years. It's just like they just keep going, just keep
Yep.
going.
Yep.
Right. And all of a sudden, even sometimes with little effort, you get the odd person that comes and all of a sudden say, hey, would we be able to go view a showing on this property? Like after multiple years of very limited communications, they're getting the listings and then all of a sudden they're ready.
Yeah.
Right? So
This is why I don't delete, I don't archive
Mhm.
unless they tell me to. Nick just did his first full offer. And that was, I gave him this lead. This was a lady that I had showed houses to back in 2017. Time wasn't right for her, and she just got listings. She stayed on everything else. And, you know, we sold her a property. Oh, I feel like it was last week or the week before. You know, in the fall, I listed and sold a house in Northumberland. She came on the system. Her official registry was June 2018. And she called me in September and said, okay, I'm ready. Right.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that because it's not up to me to tell them when they have to buy or sell a house. What I want to make sure is when they are ready, my name is still in that inbox. Right?
Yep.
Yeah.
It's very true. Very true. We've got Leslie here saying she made a phone call during the session and got a good lead, a new lead from her CRM system. So it's great.
I would love that.
Yeah.
So maybe ask her, Leslie, how do you make your phone calls? Was this a new lead that just came on, had just registered? I would love to hear that. Because I think we're all trying to play around with, should we make the call, shouldn't we? There's people that have great success with phone calls. There's other people that are doing phone calls and they're not getting anybody to answer. So I love to hear if she's there.
And it's interesting. So I had, and it's not being connected and so, what's the word I'm looking for? Focused on the outcome of the call, right? So if we're always looking at the outcome of the call, we're going to find ourselves a little discouraged because most of our leads aren't buying anytime soon, right? So oddly enough, I had one of my clients. He's new to real estate. He's been calling leads, and he's a little bit more hesitant. You can tell when he's talking a little bit more firm. He's not relaxed. He's a little uptight. He said, "Can you call some people for me? I just want to see how you talk to them." And I call this one lady. She answers, and full blown convert. Like, she was an older lady. She's looking for something to lease and da da da. But she kept talking and talking. I said, he's like, "See, if that was me, she wouldn't have talked to me for that long." I said, "Why would you say that? You have no way of knowing if she would have talked to you that long." He's like, "Yeah, but you're just so nice and like personal." I'm like, it's because I'm not connected. I could care less about what the end result of this lead is. I'm just here having a nice conversation with a lonely old lady. And she was more than willing to talk to me. I wasn't pushing her to do anything. I was, understanding her situation a little bit better to align you to follow up with her. That's all I was doing. I had no money in the game, nothing to lose by having this conversation. And so it went really well.
Yeah.
If you start going and you're aggressive and you're anxious because you want them to move, they're going to be really resistant. And if you just keep asking questions like you're not open-ended questions to have a dialogue between the two of you, you're now just taking a survey,
Yeah.
right? So you're not going to have those results. So it's just relax and focus on having just great conversations with people, and don't worry about the outcome of the call. Just know that you've set the foundation for your follow-ups down the road.
Right. I at one of the old brokerages I was with, the broker of record back then used to say for door knocking, for code calling, because that was really big way back then, especially the code calling. It was really big. Expect 99 no's before you get one yes.
Mm-hmm.
So you're already going in with the expectation of it's okay if people say no. It's okay if they don't answer the phone, right? And that's where you just have to put your mindset back in that, listen, that's why for me, when I'm going to make a call, I don't say I'm going to make phone calls. I say for my brain, I'm going to introduce my voice to the lead. And that's all I do. I'm not there. It's not survey. I don't want to ask them a million questions. I just want to say, hey, it's Tara from Begin to Search or Tara Lee Real Estate. I just wanted to thank you for coming on my site. I really appreciate it. Is there anything that I can do for you? And if they say no, that's fine, right? So for me, in your mindset, because it's all about how can I make this call without taking these expectations and putting them off my shoulders. Because if we're nervous, it's going to show, right?
Oh, absolutely. If you're hesitant or uncertain, we've all had a call by someone you could tell it was like they're very new at whatever it was that they're doing, right? Super scripted, super nervous. They're trying to get you to do like whatever it is. And the chances of you doing that at that point is very slim because they don't feel confident in whatever it is that they're trying to get you to purchase. So why would you feel confident in purchasing it? Right. So it's and that just takes practice, really. It's just talking. And the more you do it, the more relaxed naturally you're going to get. It's just going to be another day at the office, calling these people, talking to them.
It's true. You can role play as well if you're a little nervous doing it. I do think no matter where you are when you're talking with these leads, whether or not it's getting them to communicate in email, at some point in time, you are going to have to talk to them. So, try to role play a little bit. Try to get somebody in your office to just kind of sit back and do a couple of calls together, even if they are just fake. Take the expectations off. There's no right or wrong way. My biggest thing is when I'm going to communicate with a lead, I just want them to know that this is Tara. There's no fake. I'm not this princess. I'm not reading from a script. I just want to offer any help. And yes, no, we're good. We're good. And I don't want to keep them on for a long time. I just want to let them know that I appreciate them. And then maybe there's something that I can do to help them. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And
Melissa. She's been with Agent Locator for 2 months. She's closed 2 deals.
Nice.
Wow, that is fantastic. So my question to Melissa is, did you call those people? Oh, yes, she did. Interesting. And let me ask you this, Melissa, when you called them, were they willing to have a conversation right away? Or did you kind of have to just make another call and another call to kind of get them to open up more? See, I find this very interesting, Crystal, because there is no right or wrong way to lead.
Exactly. Nope, there isn't.
A conversation right away. The buyer was so surprised I called so fast. Thank you. Thank you. Yes. Yes.
That happens so much. Like I've had experiences where I'm just trying to get information and you'd be amazed at how long it takes for some people to call you back, if at all, after multiple pages and tag, and then you end up just going somewhere else. So just remember that when we want something, we want it now. We don't want to wait for it. So your leads are no different, right? If they're asking a question, they want the answer now.
Right. Right.
Mm.
That's amazing. I am really, really impressed because some do that still. They call right away and they're not getting anything. But here's the thing, you never know who you're calling. You never know who you're attaching the email drip to, right?
Mm-hmm.
You got the
Nope.
right person at the right time. This is wonderful. I'm so excited for you. Years ago, when we first started getting pay-per-click leads, 100% I called them right away. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you, that was it. We would get the notification on our phone. It wouldn't matter if I was at the grocery store. I'm telling you, I was a lead converter. So
Yeah.
I called and I would
Mm-hmm.
say, it's Tara calling from whatever the site was. Thanks for registering. I understand you're looking in, let's just say, Oshawa. Do you want me to revise your search at all? That was my go-to line. And everybody I called would say, oh my God, I just pressed the submit button.
Mm-hmm.
And I would reply, hardest working realtor in Durham region. And they would start laughing. And they always talked to me. And by the time I got off the phone, I would go into my text message and I would find out exactly what they're looking for. And then I would go back to the laptop, revise their search,
Mm-hmm.
add them to the drip, and it worked.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep. Yep.
Perfect.
It's adding them. And then even if you're talking to them and updating the search, follow up with a text message. You know, hey, Crystal, just letting you know, I just updated. You should have that list of homes in your inbox. If you have any questions, just let me know, but I'll follow up with you in a couple of weeks or whatever you've agreed on, right?
Yeah. There's such a high importance for people seeing that you're actually working.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Really appreciate talking to you. Just so you know, I've revised your search. Let me know you got it okay. That
Mm-hmm.
was a big go-to line of mine. And they would always reply back, hey, Tara, yes, I got it. Thank you so much. Right.
Yeah.
And in my mind, I'm like, perfect. They're almost in the car. That's exactly how I would think. I've almost got them in the car. Right.
Yep.
And now I knew that my next emails that would go out would have to gently bring them in just the right way. It sounds like a lot of work, but when you start putting your mind into their minds, you're going to see that you're going to be able to get these people in a whole lot quicker once you start thinking like they do. Right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely. So you can get them right when they're on the website still. And I should see as well, because there is like those chat bots that you can put on your website, right? You might be able, there's some that are actually quite smart out there that you have to be a responsive person though to have these on your website, because if someone's using that chat bot and you have it on and you're ignoring them, well then what's the point of having it? Really? But those are also ways that you can trigger them. So when they're looking at listings, it's like, hey, just wanted to check in. How are you enjoying the listings on the website? Right. And it could be an automated response. So there's some pretty cool chat bots out there that you can throw and you can program. There's some that are even free. Some that are actually really cost effective for if there is a cost to them, and they have apps, so there's no excuse if somebody's on there that you can respond to them on your website. Yeah, so I'll actually put it in the everyone's what this one is you do have to have a little bit of a technical side of you. I'm going to promise you that. This one, it's just a setup of it really is what it is. So when you're setting it all up as to what the triggers are. So you can have triggers like how long do you want the delay? So how long are they on your website before the pop-up appears? What do you want it to say? And then you can have it, so there's certain levels. So one of them will recognize when a visitor comes back based on their IP address. And so when they come back, it says, hey, Crystal, welcome back to the site. Hope everything's okay, right? So it actually recognizes return visitors. It also has visual, as much as you can see stuff in the back end. This is good in real estate, I guess, if you have a lot of content on your website, but you can actually visually see what they're doing on the website. So it's recording, it's like analytics, but visual. So you can see where their mouse is going and what they clicked on, what pages they went off of, like if they closed it right away. So it's actually quite interesting and pretty cool. Because you can have different triggers for different pages too. So if they land on your pre-construction page, you'd be like, hey, do you have any questions about pre-construction properties? Right. So again, that's the technical side, is setting that up as to each page and getting what response and how long after they hit that page. But it's another way to get them right away. So some people who you want to get them right away, and, you know, and understanding a lot of time they've already registered if they've been on there for 4 minutes, let's say, you know, they've registered at that point, right? So it's now a lead that you're initiating that conversation with.
Do you have any, like, I find this very interesting because I know that when we're all on different sites, we see ones that pop up.
Yeah.
Is there anybody that's currently using agent locator with that's having a greater success rate in conversion? And that's what I would love to know. If anybody on the webinars has used it, I think that's a really great tool, because remember, conversion is about communication first. So if we can capture them a little quicker with that.
Yeah. And then you'll know right away, like, oh, we're just browsing, checking out, whatever, right? Sometimes sometimes they'll ignore it. They'll close the chat box, and that's okay. Like, I always close the chat box, right? But you can also turn it so it's offline. So if it's offline, it basically will send you an email with their question.
Okay, right. Not this time. Thanks for checking in. I just tried. Thanks.
Loyal.
Yes. Okay.
Still looking. Thanks for checking
in. I
Okay.
see. Okay.
Yeah.
You sent an email out?
You tried to loyal. Thanks to loyal. So must be thanks to loyal a chat.
Loyalty. Yeah.
Yeah.
A text.
Oh, okay.
And one of them responded, not at this time, still looking. So, okay. Here, see, can you tell I'm getting excited? Okay. Right? Yes. This is exactly what I'm talking about. Thank you for doing that. And thank you for doing it live. So you look at that, not at this time, thanks for checking in. Some people will go, oh, Frank, okay, so they're not ready, right? Yeah. Not me. Yeah. Not me. Yeah. I'm like, oh my gosh, okay, they're not ready yet. They're still looking, right? They didn't tell me they were under contract with another realtor. And they said, thanks for checking in. Yeah. So I'm going to reply back, it's my pleasure. Continue using the site. I will be here when the time is right for you. So do you guys understand what I'm saying? So this response that he had to me is gold, because they've actually given you a great update. And don't forget to make sure and put the notes in their section as well, right? Yeah. Yeah. So
Well, it's good. It's a responsive lead, right? So you know they're responsive. They haven't ignored you. And so now it's just, again, whether it's drip or you're reaching out to them from time to time, depending on their behaviors, it's just keeping that going.
Right. And you made them feel special by saying, thank you. I appreciate you coming on my site. Yes. Right. So they're probably now going to be more inclined to open up more emails from you because you've taken the time to thank them. When you make a phone call, do the same thing. I just wanted to take a minute, Bob, to thank you for coming on the site. You know, is there anything you need? Right. Break down the resistance, because right away, you know, they know who you are. And I'm sure their back is up as they're answering. Right. So break down that wall first. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Anybody else who does this, please let us know, because I think this is a great example for everybody attending right now.
You got to kill them with kindness in your responses.
I try. Yeah.
People could be less nasty if you're nice to them, right? And they're more responsive too, right? So more people, the more polite and respectful you are towards them, the more you're going to get that in return from them as well.
Yeah. Now, listen, some of you that are attending the webinar right now, if you're living in an area like we were here in Durham and Peterborough, who experienced, tragedy. We've had 10 people so far die from this storm. You may want to reach out to your community and see if there isn't something that you can do for the community. Always have your real estate hat on. I'm not trying to relay this the wrong way, but opportunities for you to have your name a little recognized in a community is take advantage of charities and being part of things like that go on, as it makes people think about you, and it gives realtors such a better name down the road. So I usually try to really as well involve myself in a lot of local charities, so forth. And I do it for Tara. This isn't Tara Lee Real Estate that does this. It's Tara. But you know what people do, oh, what do you do for a living? I'm a realtor. That's how it starts to build up. And I think you have this opportunity to kind of reach out and help those in need further, help you build your
absolutely.
branding. I hope I'm not making this come across the wrong way, but
no. Yeah, it's just putting your name out in the community by doing acts of charity, nonetheless. Community events, things like that, things that people will appreciate that you actually take the time to do those things.
Yeah.
A lot of us don't do all of those things. Such as we should.
Hopefully everybody on here is safe, and it was a pretty scary thing, that's for sure.
Yes. Absolutely.
Keep at it. Any other questions?
Not that I can see here. I feel like that
we're all recovering from the long weekend.
Yeah. It's probably some of us anyway. Yesterday was my recovery day. It's a lot. It's a lot when you have busy weekends, and it's like, man, the weekend's already over. Like, we even had an extra day, and it felt like it went by too fast, right?
Right. So, I hear you. Well, this is good. Hopefully you guys got some good information. Feel free to still do the Q&As. I love that. I love to hear what you guys are doing. And if you've noticed any trends in Agent Locator, like, you've tried doing something, share it with all of us, because I do think the perfect system is all of this combined into one.
Yes, absolutely. Right? Yeah, exactly. Or having different systems in your systems depending on your leads, but it takes time and commitment to be able to do that. As well. Right.
And I'd like everybody to start writing their drip campaign. Just start thinking, if I were going to send the first email out, what should it be? And after the last webinar, I had probably 5 agents call me on my cell phone running by ideas. I have no problem with that. You can send me an email. I'm happy to look over and give you my 2 cents worth. But honestly, remember, lead conversion is really based on your branding and your name going in their inbox. That's what it is. Your emails need to be short and sweet, to the point, and always ask a question so that they can reply, right? But feel free. I'm an open book. Yeah.
Perfect. Awesome. Well, that's that for today, Tara.
All right.
Yay. So thank you. And thank you everyone that came on board today and took part in our lovely webinar and put together, even if you guys put together your first email, right? And if any of you guys want to share what your first email is, you can send it privately either to me and Tara in there. So if you don't want people just copying it and then taking it, we can verbalize it, right? Say what it is out loud.
Absolutely.
Right. But it'll be good to see and even, kind of work together as a team to kind of adjust wording if it's necessary.
Let's do it. I'm an open book, because this awesome. You guys can all do it. We all know what will work for us as people, and that's the thing. So in 2 weeks, let's share some stuff and
perfect.
Reach out to me.
Perfect. Sounds good. Awesome. We'll see y'all later. Bye.
Bye, guys.